was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps.
This sentence alone proves why Tony Stark is the GOAT of MCU. He literally built an arc reactor and an Iron Man suit to go along with it while he was being held captive. This guy is already doing impossible things in his very first movie. Let's be honest, the MCU has some very incredible characters. Captain America, Thor, Loki, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, all legends, you know. But when people ask me who's the greatest MCU character, the greatest, it's Tony Stark. And honestly, I don't even think it's close. Because Tony didn't just carry movies. For over a decade, he was the MCU. Okay, let's come out of the character for a second and just talk about the film Iron Man and how it literally started the MCU. If this movie had flopped, there would have been no MCU. So the movie itself was so monumental for the MCU. So the character had to be legendary for it to work. Think about where he started. This guy is literally introduced as the biggest narcissist on earth. Weapons billionaire, cocky, arrogant, makes jokes every 5 seconds. Shows up to award ceremonies just to insult everybody. The man had more confidence than actual reasons to be confident. If ego generated electricity, Tony Stark could have literally powered New York, which he did with the arc reactor anyways, so yeah, point proven. Then everything changes. He gets kidnapped, stuck in a cave, shrapnel inches from his heart, by the way. No lab, no assistant, no Jarvis, no billion-dollar workshop, just him, Yinsen, and a box of scraps. This is where most people would have accepted defeat. Tony Stark looked at captivity and thought, you know what this situation needs? Engineering.
What?
Imagine you are holding Tony Stark hostage and you are expecting your hostage to be terrified. Instead, he's in the corner inventing the future. I'd literally be concerned, dude. And that's what separates Tony from basically everyone else. His superpower isn't the suit, it's his brain. Take the armor away, he's still Tony Stark.
What are you? Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
Take away the money, he still built the first suit in the cave. Take away the company, he's still solving problems nobody else can. Most superheroes lose their powers. Tony's intellect is his power itself. Now let's talk about the humor. Because nobody in the MCU trash talks like Tony Stark. Loki shows up, Tony immediately starts insulting his fashion choice. Thor arrives, Tony starts making Shakespeare jokes. Banner becomes the Hulk, the guy who can literally smash you to pieces. And Tony's first instinct is sarcasm. This man treats life-threatening situations like open mic night. Imagine you're trying to conquer Earth and the billionaire you're fighting keeps roasting you instead of panicking. I would retire. One of my favorite moments is in the Avengers. Everybody's arguing, okay? Nobody trusts each other, you know? The team is falling apart and Tony, he's still making jokes. The man copes with stress by increasing the sarcasm level to maximum. It's like emotional Wi-Fi. The worse the situation gets, the stronger the signal becomes. Then comes Iron Man 3, one of the most underrated parts of Tony's character. The suit isn't the hero, Tony is. Remember when the kid asks him, what if you don't have the suit? Tony basically proves he doesn't need it. He's building traps, improvising and outsmarting people. Using random hardware store equipment like he's in Home Alone with a PhD, dude. He just goes into the mansion, fights those people, maybe kills a few, I don't know, and then literally gets caught. But he still manages to escape while looking like a badass. Now that's why he's the GOAT. And then in Age of Ultron, now yes, Ultron tried to delete humanity. Minor inconvenience. But this movie also shows Tony's biggest flaw. He's terrified of failing. Everything he does, building Ultron, creating better suit, making contingency plans, comes from fear. He's not trying to become stronger because it's cool. He's trying to make sure nobody dies on his watch again. That's what makes him interesting. His greatest strength and biggest weakness are basically the same thing. In Civil War, when people start choosing sides, Team Cap or Team Iron Man, personally I understand both. But imagine being Tony for a second. You find out the Winter Soldier turned off your parents. Steve knew and didn't tell you. Brother, I wouldn't have waited a minute longer. People act like Tony just woke up angry. No, that entire situation was emotional damage in 4K if you ask me. In Infinity War, Tony carried the whole movie. The scene with Doctor Strange, the fight on Titan, all that for a drop of blood moment. Even Thanos had to acknowledge him. Think about how insane that is. The guy who defeated the Hulk like he was just a random kid on the block, destroyed the Avengers, collected Infinity Stones, looked at Tony Stark and basically went, I respect you. My man, that's what Tony's aura was. And in Endgame finally, I don't even need to explain this one, it's self-explanatory. 5 years later, Tony finally has peace, he has Pepper, Morgan, a family, everything he always wanted, and then the universe shows up again asking for his help. The easiest decision would have been saying no. Nobody would have blamed him. Instead, he saves everyone again. And then we get to that moment. I am Iron Man. Bro, cinema. Actual cinema, dude. The snap, the silence, the music, the realization. I've never heard a movie theater go from cheering to complete silence that quickly. Marvel didn't just kill a character. They ended an era. And that's why nobody has really replaced Tony Stark. It's not because newer characters are bad. I mean, some are. Let's not talk about Ironheart.
Do you think Tony Stark would be Tony Stark if he wasn't a billionaire?
It's because Tony Tony connected everything. He was funny, smart, flawed, selfish, selfless, confident, broken, but he felt human. He wasn't perfect, he made mistakes too, big ones, but he always tried to fix them. Also, can we appreciate how every version of Tony's suit somehow became cooler? Mark 1, it was cool, building everything in the cave. Mark 3 was even cooler, and then the nanotech was just the best of the bunch. The man treated armor upgrades like iPhone releases. Every morning he walked in with something new, and somehow it always worked, except when Hulk punched it, because nothing would survive it anyway. Another thing people forget, that Tony basically adopted Peter Parker. Adopted. And those scenes are some of the best in MCU. Peter isn't just another Avenger to him. He's the kid Tony doesn't want making the same mistake. That's why Peter's death in Infinity War, temporary death, hurts Tony so much, and why Tony risks everything in Endgame. It's not just about saving the universe, it's about bringing his kid back. So Tony Stark is the best MCU character without any doubt, because he changed so much over the years. The billionaire who cared only about himself became the man willing to give up everything for people he had never even met. That's one of the best character arcs in superhero movies. Not because it happened overnight, because we watched it happen over 11 years, movie after movie, mistake after mistake, victory after victory, or loss after loss. And honestly, I don't think that MCU will ever have another character quite like him. Not because nobody else is interesting, because Tony Stark was lightning in a bottle. The perfect actor, the perfect writing, and the perfect timing and the journey. And somehow it all started with a guy building an Iron Man suit in a cave with a bunch of scraps, okay? So yeah, still the greatest flex in MCU history. So if you like this video, please leave a like. I'm aiming for 200 likes. And also consider subscribing. Okay, that's it from my side. Thanks, bye.